you're wasting your time trying to like solve your pain issues if you are not eating an appropriate amount of calories. When I say an appropriate amount of calories, I basically mean enough based on your activities, and like what you're trying to do both cognitively and physically. So there's no perfect diet out there. In general, you need to make sure you're eating enough protein to help you build muscle, especially if you're training consistently. That usually looks like, around a gram per pound of body weight, but it's often like 0.75 is where most people kind of need to be. Or for a lot of people, it's just more than they're eating. If you're not eating enough carbs to like really fuel what you're trying to do, you should investigate that. And then honestly, just like fiber, right? Getting enough fruits and veggies to just actually like sustain and fill you up is really important, right? So if you're not getting enough calories, that's something to consider. And then if you're not getting enough sleep, meaning honestly, like more than most people find to be like adequate. And I'm not trying to nocebo you into thinking that you need to get, 10 hours of sleep all the time. But if you're a high output person, meaning you're doing a lot of physical activity and you're getting like 5 hours of sleep a night or 6 hours of sleep a night, that could be a giant contributor to how you feel physically and how you perform in the long run. Now, can you have some problem? Like, can you have bad nights of sleep? Yes, that's okay. What we're talking about is like the averaging out of, calories taken in and sleep that you have, had over the course of, let's say, months to a year. If you're pretty darn consistent with your nutrition and you get pretty good sleep on a regular basis, you're gonna do pretty well. And I don't necessarily think you need to like dig too deep into this stuff. But if you're somebody who doesn't sleep very well, doesn't sleep a lot, goes to bed late, wakes up, doesn't feel super rested on a regular basis, and you under fuel, those are the biggest things you can start to really leverage to like perform better, but also to manage like pain. Like I think one of the big things that we have a hard time grasping when it comes to pain and rehab, especially like when you have it in like a singular joint, is we think that like it's not systemic in any way, shape, or form. Oh, it's just the problem with the joint. And like it may be true that that's the case, but for the most part, even if you had like a singular joint issue, but you're super stressed, you're not eating enough, and you're not sleeping enough, like it's just gonna make that worse, right? So start with the things that you can really modify. Start by looking at your training, start by looking at your nutrition, start by looking at your sleep. If those things, you really get those things in a row, and then you want to go further down the whole rabbit hole of trying to find a bunch of other things, that's totally cool. But start with the things you can really control. It will surprise you how good you can feel if you get regular sleep, if you train well, and you eat enough to fuel your goals. That's all I got for today. Focus on the basics. Peace.